What's going on, guys? Welcome back to #AskGSM episode 349 here today for Wednesday, August 5th, 2020. I am Graham GSM Matthews. Hope you guys are doing well. If you want to send in a question to the show, you can do so by tweeting me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with the #AskGSM. Find me on Facebook as well at facebook.com/Graham.GSM.Matthews. Drop a comment on the post that I usually put up on Tuesday nights, if not on the wall itself. And last but certainly not least, drop your question down below in the comment section on this very video. I'll include your question in next week's edition. Without further ado, let's get right into it today. First question, for the first time ever, we got a verbal question from Alexis, who is sitting right behind me as we speak. Because we lost fucking power. I'm still without power right now. She gained power back early this morning. She's coming over to tell the story, even though it's not necessary, but here we go.
No, I'm not telling the story. I just want to be a part of this one thing.
Okay. Anything else, or is that it?
Wait, no, I asked you 2 questions. Remember that?
Okay, so you asked 2 questions.
2 verbal questions, first time ever.
To my knowledge, I've never recorded verbal questions down here on the show before. I've had people text me questions. That's been done before. I know Mr. Marceau has done that. Never verbal questions. I don't want people starting to, run into me or just, I don't see many of you in public at all. Ever. So I doubt this is going to happen, but that's the case with Alexis. Real quickly, not to spend too much time on her questions. First one, who will the new faction consist of? Who is now named Redemption, or I think it's Redemption. I think that's what WWE called it.
Yeah.
I've been off of Twitter for the better part of the past 24 hours, 36 hours due to the power being out, and I only just saw that this morning, that it's going to be called Redemption, which is fucking dumb. I honestly don't even think the company knows who it's going to consist of, just because, there's so many options of people from NXT and new people, like, for example, in the Raw Underground segment this week, we saw Babatunde, who is, to my knowledge, never before appeared on WWE TV, except for that mess of a Royal Rumble match in Saudi Arabia a couple of years ago.
Really?
Other than that, he has never appeared on WWE TV. Even NXT, maybe once or twice, never on WWE TV, and there's a good reason for that. The guy is improving, but he's far from main roster ready. There's a reason why he was honing his skills over and Evolve before that shut down. So anyway, I honestly have no idea. I saw some speculation that it could be Dominik Dijakovic. That's a good guess. I would assume he is main roster bound very, very, very soon. Now, would it do him justice? Honestly, I don't know. Maybe it could. Maybe it wouldn't. Just because I feel like he might flounder on his own. Not because he doesn't have the talent or that he can't talk or can't wrestle, whatever. Obviously, we know Dijakovic is a tremendous talent. I just have very little faith in this man roster writing team to do well by Dijakovic on his own. But in a faction, that might not be a bad fit for him. Beyond Dijakovic, I'm trying to think of other people from NXT. Honestly, I can't really think of many that they could call up to be a part of the group. Cross would seem to fit the vibe of it, but I do not want to see Killer Cross or Karrion Kross, whatever, involved in this dumb shit. So honestly, I have no idea. I am more of the mindset that they will drop this before we ever find out who's behind it. Maybe it's the same hacker that's been hacking SmackDown for the last couple of weeks. What'd you say?
Like the spider.
What spider?
Eric Rowan.
We actually found out what was in the cage after a while. I think that we won't ever find out who's behind the faction. A lot like the SmackDown hacker. Maybe it's Kevin Nash. I don't know. I guess we'll find out in due time. I honestly don't give 2 fucks. Before we go any further with our second question, I forgot to mention this earlier. You can check out my, and I say this every single week, exclusive interview right now on dailyddt.com. I doubt this video goes up in time for NXT tonight. It's been a crazy day, but you can check out the interview right now on the website with Rhea Ripley. And I did get a chance to talk to her a couple of months ago, back in May. This interview is even better. Check it out right now on the website. We talk about her number 1 contenders match tonight on NXT, facing Dakota Kai, with the winner advancing to TakeOver 30 to face Io Shirai for the NXT Women's Championship. We talk her new blonde hair, bleach blonde hair, that is. We talk about Mercedes Martinez, Bronson Reed, what she's watching during quarantine, all these other cool questions. So check that out right now on dailyddt.com. As for Alexis's second question, it was my 2 favorite and 2 least favorite. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Questions on 13 reasons why, which, yes, the show first started 3 years ago. Yes, I am just starting it now. Yes, I am very slow on things, but we're finally getting to it. You had already watched the show. I had never seen it before.
Just seasons 1 and then 1, 2, and some of 3.
Okay, so I had never seen any of the show before recently. We've been watching it now for about a month and a half. We're almost done with season 2. So far, for those who have seen the show, my top 2 favorite characters are Mr. Porter, easily, and Clay's dad. My 2 least favorite characters, Bryce, because he's a piece of shit. And I feel like Marcus is an obvious answer, as is Bryce. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say Clay. He comes across like a baby. I fucking hate Clay. He's supposed to be the main protagonist of the show. He comes across like such a wimp most of the time. I fucking hate Clay. And RJ knows the show. He's watched the show.
Really?
We've talked about the show. I don't know if he's seen all 4 seasons. I know he watched the first season, or at least part of it. I'm sure he'll listen to this and correct me. But what insight do you have, Alexis, before we move forward?
Yeah, the funny part is, though, when I first watched it, when it first came out, because I binged the whole thing, like, right after it came out in, like, 1.5 days. The funny part is, like, when I first saw it, I was, like, this huge fan of Clay. And then after, like, watching it again now, I fucking hate Clay. He's so annoying.
Mm-hmm.
He's so annoying. Like, just, it's interesting to watch it with a different perspective, but... That's it. Shout out to Mom and Dad. Thanks. I finally made it. Thanks for getting me this far in life. Amen.
Okay, Clay sucks. Moving on to the next wrestling-related question here, because that's what the people came to hear. FD from Facebook has got 3 questions. I put up the Facebook question a lot later than I was hoping to last night because we had no fucking power, so that's why. I apologize. Now, a lot of wrestling fans are trying to compare MVP's new group, The Hurt Business, with The Nation of Domination, based on how they've been portrayed so far. However, I feel like The Hurt Business, in my opinion, is WWE creative spin on replicating MVP's previous stable in TNA, the Beatdown Clan, based on their motives and their members, seeing that both Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin have been members of the group in which MVP was the leader of both groups. I don't really know what he means by that sentence, aside from the fact that Bobby was involved in both. I have no idea what Shelton has to do with any of this, because Shelton was not in that first group. If you're mistaking Shelton Benjamin for Kenny King, then you got issues, my man. But that's not Shelton Benjamin. That was Kenny King. I'm sure you know that, but your question made it sound strange. My question is, he continues, do you feel that The Hurt Business is more leaning towards my opinion than what most of the wrestling fans said? And do you feel that it'll have the same outcome and impact, and no pun intended, as what the Beatdown Clan did in TNA? Well, to correct you right there, my man, the Beatdown Clan had no impact on TNA. It was a failure of a stable, and honestly, it did have some promise. I thought it was a cool concept. I was there for the debut of the Beatdown Clan. I've been to 2 Impact shows in my fucking life. The first one, or actually, I'm sorry, the second one, was the first episode on Destination America. I think it was, not Pop TV. Not Pop TV. It was Destination America, first show of 2015. That was their big launch show, and they had Bobby Roode lose the World Championship to Bobby Lashley. Bobby wasn't a part of the Beatdown Clan, I don't think. Obviously MVP was, and MVP and Bobby worked together in TNA previously with Kenny King. Bobby, I don't think, was ever officially a member of the Beatdown Clan. At that point, he and MVP kind of went their separate ways, and Bobby became a babyface, if I'm not mistaken. In the Beatdown Clan, they had MVP, Loki, who they should absolutely not bring in. The guy's a piece of shit. Samoa Joe, which would be fucking sick if they could get to, I know it doesn't, not every member of the Hurt Business has to be African American, black, whatever. I mean, that we'll throw that out of the window right now. If they had I think I've been asked this before here on the show. If they had a white member of the group, I'm not sure who I said it should be. I forgot who I said a couple of weeks ago, but throwing Samoa Joe in there, I think would be pretty fucking sick as one of their heavies alongside Bobby Lashley, like a Bobby Lashley Samoa Joe tag team. If they don't want to have Samoa Joe, go at it alone anymore. In case he's injury prone, which he absolutely is, then that'd be cool. I forgot who else was in the group, though. I know it was Joe, MVP, Low-Key. There was definitely someone else, and I don't remember. The Beatdown Clan, now, for all intents and purposes, I think it was Kenny King. But for all intents and purposes, the group was a complete failure. They were barely around for like 4 or 5 months. Samoa Joe left TNA before the group really got going. He was with the group for like a fucking month. Low-Key was there for like maybe through the summer, maybe. MVP got fired by the summer of 2015. Kenny King was the only one left, and he left by, I think, late 2015 as well. So they were all gone from TNA by mid-2015. The group was a complete bust. It could have been a lot more. But I think the issue with the group that I had back in 2015 was that by that point, I had been so fucking watered down on all the heel stables in TNA. The Main Event Mafia I really liked. They had the World Elite or whatever the fuck it was. Wasn't a real big fan of that. They had the Aces and Eights, which was a complete shit show. They had some like Authority faction with Dixie Carter. That fucking sucked. They definitely had more factions that I'm not thinking of. Oh, they had Immortal. Immortal sucked too. That was a complete waste of time. They had Fortune for a while, and I liked Fortune as baby faces, but they had done so many heel factions that by the time the Beatdown Clan finally arrived, I just could not give two fucks. But yeah, I would say the Hurt Business is more along, even though it's not exactly like the Beatdown Clan, I would say it's more like that than it is the Nation of Domination. Because it's not like MVP's going out there and saying, oh, we're being held down, blah, blah, blah. And if anything, in this day and age, it would make them a babyface group. So if they want to go with the heel route, it's probably best they don't do that with the Hurt Business. His second question, Raw Underground, or as I would like to call it, the Brawl for All, FD says, is perhaps what could be the most divisive idea WWE could ever think of in recent memory, seeing that there could be motives on boosting ratings that has been holding on a major slump lately for WWE's flagship show with implementing shoot fights into the third hour every Monday night. My question is, do you feel that Raw Underground is basically WWE's idea of having the same concept of the total utter disaster that was the Brawl for All a long time ago? Do you feel that Raw Underground concept will end up as disastrous as the Brawl for All? And will this concept derail pushes for underutilized talents, just like what happened with Brawl for All? Every time you hear Brawl for All in that question, take a drink, you're probably dead. But I get what he's talking about there. I get what he's going for. I absolutely got the Brawl for All comparisons. That was the first thing I thought of when I first saw the Raw Underground set. I'll talk more about this later. You're just kind of asking about the Brawl for All fucking references and shit. Will it end up a failure? I think so. I don't think this is going to get anyone over. I'm not going to give a fuck about Dolph Ziggler because he choked out some no-name loser in some random warehouse that's probably in Stamford, Connecticut, right down the street from their headquarters. I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you. That being said, it's worth a shot. It's something different. The whole 10 p.m., like, oh, we're going to get edgy at 10, it screams the same bullshit. And I was saying this to Alexis the other day. It screams 24/7, oh, the third hour of Raw is going to be like darker. We're going to turn off the lights. Hoo-hoo-hoo. Like, who gives a fuck? Who cares? They dropped that shit within a week or two. No one gave a shit. It didn't matter ratings-wise. No one really bought it at all. No one gave a fuck. So, yeah, anyway, I was not a fan of it. I'll talk more about Raw Underground later. It's not going to be as much, it's not going to derail pushes like the Brawl for All did, in which completely, I guess it is kind of related. On a related note, I did put up my review of the Brawl for All episode of Dark Side of the Ring just yesterday. I did a Raw Talk review, couldn't put it up in time with the whole power outage and whatever. I have all the Dark Side of the Ring reviews saved and queued up, ready to publish whenever I don't have a video to publish for that day. And I didn't have Raw Talk ready yesterday, so I thought I would publish that review. Completely, unbeknownst to me, with the whole Brawl for All comparisons. I didn't really put two and two together when I did that. But that review is up right now on WWE Network and Chill with the Dark Side of the Ring reviews. But no, with the Brawl for All, it was just a dumb fucking concept. I really don't give a fuck what anyone says about, like, oh, it was cool, it was innovative. Yeah, it was innovative for all the wrong reasons. People got hurt. It ended Dr. Death Steve Williams' career, who they were supposed to push as, like, this big star. It didn't create any new stars. It lost money, created injuries. It just created this awesome documentary for Dark Side of the Ring. That's about the only good thing it was designed for. It was just a complete waste. It was stupid. It was dumb. I wasn't a fan back then, so I can't say, oh, I was hooked and I couldn't wait for that next fight. I didn't watch back then, so I really can't say with full certainty whether people felt the same way even back then. But you hear people talk about it in retrospect, specifically people like Jim Ross who were there, and they agree. It was a dumb concept. It was stupid. Raw Underground is similar in the sense that they're trying to convince you, like, oh, it's real shoot fighting. It's like, dude, if I wanted to see shoot fighting, I'd fucking watch UFC. I would go to New York City and watch someone get beat up in the fucking alleyway. Like, I don't care about seeing shoot fights on WWE TV. I'm meant to be entertained. I want to see I want to see fake fighting done right. That's not fake fighting. I mean, honestly, what they did at the end there with the Hurt Business, annihilating it and annihilating everyone, I thought that was sick. I thought that was really, really well done. The rest of it, like seeing Shane McMahon back on TV, listen, I love Shane O'Mac to death. I do not need to see him in this role back on the show. I don't need to see Shane back on the show at all, to be honest with you. I had more of Shane McMahon in my 2019 than I have in my entire lifetime. I'm all set. Time to move on. The stripper girls, that was stupid. I'm not really, or underground, so we're going to have people stripping. Like, I could see people complaining about how, like, you're just too sensitive. Like, it's too PC. No, it's just fucking dumb. To me, it's stupid when you push this women's revolution movement nonsense, and then you just have strippers on the show. And I just think it's incredibly stupid. And I know strippers are like, that's an actual, profession, and more, power to those people, but I don't need that on my wrestling show personally. The women are attractive enough to the main audience, that I don't think they need to see strippers on the show, in my personal opinion. If you want to see that shit, go fucking watch Pornhub. Next question, also from FD. Third question here. Speaking of unique, Wrestle House has been the most intriguing concept TNA/Impact Wrestling has ever done, with a reality show concept of wrestlers living in a house and exploring their characters a lot more. Do you feel that Wrestle House is a great concept to help feel out the characters? I think you said feel out. Or flesh out, flesh out the characters of those involved more. And do you see Wrestle House continuing on Impact Wrestling TV post the pandemic, and perhaps utilizing live interactivity on Twitch with wrestlers streaming something outside of the wrestling on Wrestle House, like gaming sessions, Q&As, etc.? Honestly, I'm going to be completely honest with you here. I don't really give a shit about the Wrestle House stuff. I really don't. I appreciate their attempt to be different. It's not terrible TV. It's just not for me. The fake matches, I think, are stupid. It's a waste of time. Maybe it's just because they have, like, the wrong people on there. I don't give a fuck about the Deaners. I don't give a shit about, like, Team Triple XL. I don't know. I feel like maybe this is their way of giving us a reason to care about these characters. I feel like this whole Wrestle House thing is one giant, I don't want to say waste of time, but I feel like it's their way of just furthering the story between Taya, Rosemary, and Johnny Bravo, the referee, the fucking guy that's with Rosemary and Taya. That seems to be the central focus of this Wrestle House thing, and that's fine. I think that's been well done so far. But the rest of it, some of the inside jokes, I like me some Tommy Dreamer. Do I need to see him on TV in 2020 every episode? The answer is no. No, I don't. Yeah, it's just not for me. I really hated how they spent like a majority of Impact last week on the Wrestle House shit. I mean, I don't know. If you want to do a segment here and there, I get it. Maybe make it exclusive to YouTube or something. I guess the feedback has largely been positive. It's just, for me, not for me. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not my cup of tea personally. At noob_n_co1991 from Twitter. What did you think of Raw Underground, and how long do you think it will last? Overall, I talked with the Brawl for All comparisons. I just didn't give a shit, honestly. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. To me, it screams, like The Faction, another desperate attempt by this company to get people to care about this show. The networks look at the ratings, they see the ratings are dropping considerably. Like, it's one thing if the ratings remain stagnant. That's a problem. But at least they're not going down. Like, Raw's ratings in the last, not just like couple of months, couple of like years, I'm talking like the last 5 or 6 years, have gone down a shit ton. Like, you combine the ratings they do now between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, that doesn't even equal what Raw was doing 5 years ago. Like, that's concerning to me. So, I don't know. I thought the concept was dumb. Maybe it'll win me over. I don't see it lasting long. I see this lasting as long as the 24/7, shit from a year ago when it was like the 3rd hour exclusive. How long did that last before they abandoned that shit? The $1 Million Mania, same concept to boost the ratings. It was, disbanded in like a month. 3 weeks, I think it lasted for. There's a lot of concepts like that that they've done, like, we're doing this every single week. The electric chair, that was a 1 week thing. I think this will last longer than that. That was a complete waste. That was a bust. That was terrible TV. One of the worst segments of the year. This wasn't one of the worst things I've seen all year. It was just confusing. I saw some people praising it, and that's cool, but like 1,000 camera cuts from Kevin Dunn, to me, do not scream underground. You want to talk about underground? Go fucking watch Lucha Underground. That, to me, in the temple with my man Dario Cueto, that was fucking underground. Not this shit with Shane McMahon dancing in front of some strippers. Ooh, look at me. Like, who gives a shit? Honestly, who fucking cares? Like, I just thought it was a whole waste of time. It was cool to see Dolph Ziggler beating the shit out of people and the Viking Raiders to an extent. I just don't see what it accomplishes, to be honest with you. I don't see it lasting long at all. I give it 3 weeks to a month, max. Maybe a month and a half. I don't see it lasting longer than that. I doubt the ratings improve because we're seeing people in their fucking tights beat the fuck out of each other in a warehouse in Stanford. Next question. Which women's wrestlers from any wrestling promotion would be a great fit for AEW's women's division? To me, it would be Angelina Love. You lost me there. Mandy Leone. Amy Rose. Thunder Rosa. Marty Bell. I just corpsed. I broke kayfabe, brother. And Allison Kay. Angelina Love. Dude. You lost me with that one. You fucking lost me, dude. Listen, she's been around for a long time. I loved Me the Beautiful People back in the glory days of TNA. She's fucking terrible. They do not need... I would take 1,000,000 Nyla Roses if it meant not hiring Angelina Love. And you can't even have her anyway. I think she's still with Ring of Honor as far as I know. And they haven't run any shows since like February, but I'm pretty sure she's still with Ring of Honor. Mandy Leone, you know, the thing with her is that she's been around in Ring of Honor for a long time. She's another one. I don't think they could sign her just because she's with Ring of Honor and she dates like one of the head bookers there. So I don't think she's ever going to leave. I think she has a spot for life there if she wants it. She's been around for a long time. I've never really seen her improve. Like, she's like the Ring of Honor version of Dana Brooke. Been around for 5 or 6 years, hasn't improved a lick. So I don't really want to see her there. Amy Rose, she's the fucking manager for Kenny King. Have we even seen her wrestle a match? I would take Camille over fucking Amy Rose. Who gives a fuck about Amy Rose? You're naming all the Ring of Honor people I just don't give a shit about here. The other 3 people, now, you name Thunder Rosa, Marty Bell, and Allison Kay. I'll take 2 of those women. Marty Bell, I just don't give a shit about at all. I don't think she's bad. There's just something about her. When I first saw her in TNA a couple of years ago, I'm like, I just don't fucking like this woman. And she seems like a perfectly nice woman. I don't know. And she's a heel. She's perfectly cast as a heel. But I have yet to see, from Impact to NWA to the Mae Young Classic, I have yet to see one match of hers that stands out as, oh man, that was, like, fucking hire this woman. Like, no. When WWE passed on her, I said good. Like, she's not that good. And maybe she's improved from the little that I've seen of her in the NWA. She's not really someone I want to see in AEW at all. Allison Kay, I've never really been the biggest fan of, but she's a great talker and a very good wrestler. There's no doubting that. I think she'd be a great fit for AEW. Thunder Rosa is the complete package to me. I think she's got a great look. I think she can talk. I think she can go in the ring. She's awesome. Honestly, I'm very surprised she has flown under the radar for as long as she has up to this point. Like, I don't know. Was she in Lucha? I think she was in Lucha Underground, maybe as Mary Post. I never give a fuck about Mary Post. If she's the same woman, then I'm amazed. Because she is amazing. And I never really saw that in Lucha. That's who she was there, if it wasn't someone else. I don't know if I've seen her anywhere else, though. I think she turned down a contract from NXT maybe to be a trainer, I heard. I think she said that in an interview. I think I've seen her in Ring of Honor, too, but she's really been fucking killing it. Firing at all cylinders. She's been killing it in the NWA. So I think her, like, answering, like, an open challenge from her Kuroshita would be awesome. Ivelisse is great. I would love to see more of her in AEW. We got to see a match of hers recently on Dynamite against, what's her name, Diamante. Wasn't that good, to be honest with you. Diamante's another one. I really like Diamante. I want them to hire Diamante and put her back with Santana, Ortiz. Eddie Kingston would be cool because they just hired him. I feel like she's going to be hired. Unfortunately, her matches lately have been no good. But from what I've seen of her in the past, she is also very, very good. Got to give a shout out to my fact checker, Alexis, who just corrected me. She was not Mary Posa in Lucha Underground. She was Cobra Moon. Never gave fucking two shits about Cobra Moon in Lucha Underground. Never gave two fucking shits about that woman. I can't believe it's that same woman because she is great now in the NWA. Like, it's a night and day. It's like sun and moon. That's what it is to me. Terrible pun. Thunder
and Moon?
Okay, that's even worse. And then the last one I will say, I haven't seen enough like great matches from her to say that it would be like, why haven't they hired her? And I kind of know why, just given the backstage issues there. But Kelly Klein from Ring of Honor, I'm surprised hasn't resurfaced anywhere since she got fired from there back in January of 2020. We haven't seen her anywhere aside from just Ring of Honor late last year. I don't know what she's doing now. I mean, obviously, we're in the midst of a fucking pandemic. But I think she'd be a great fit for AEW at some point. I know her ex-husband, who she cheated on, fucking works there in a backstage role. So, personally, I don't know if that's a great move to hire her under those circumstances. But anyway, I think that'd be cool. And I think she's good enough to be looked at, to warrant a look. So hopefully at some point we see her show up in AEW on Dynamite, be given a tryout. I think she'd be the perfect person to bring in for this fucking tag team tournament they're doing right now, which I don't give a shit about, which I'll get to in a moment. But I think she is worth a look. At RJ_Marceau from the Twitter machine, this is a great question. If you had, and I'm not just biased because it's RJ, if you had to trade one superstar from AEW to WWE, who would be in the trade? I'm going to cheat you here. Now, you said one superstar. I'm going to say a tag team. Now, I count that as one pick because tag teams usually aren't worth shit on their own. And that is especially true for one of the two tag teams I'm about to mention. I would trade. And this was a very good question because I looked up and down the AEW roster. There's a fucking handful of people I would love to see in AEW from WWE. Dolph Ziggler leads that list. I think he would thrive. Honestly, anywhere but WWE, but specifically AEW. Like, I think he would do well in Impact. I think he would do well in Ring of Honor. I think he would do well in Lucha Underground. They haven't run a show in 2 years. Anywhere but WWE would be great for Dolph. But, you know, he comes to mind. And a number of others. Fucking Shayna Baszler, I think, would do well. But as a pick that would make sense to move to WWE, like, none came to mind. Like, Adam Page, Kenny Omega, I wouldn't move them because they're doing so well for the most part right now in AEW. Why would you trade them? So a pick that I would make as a tag team, like I said, I would trade the Usos, who have been in WWE forever. Like, literally forever. For as long as fucking, like, Jesus Christ has been on this earth. These guys have been with WWE. Like, they've got him. Like, listen, I love the Usos. I love me some Usos. Like, Uso Penitentiary, dumb shit, whatever. But we got a fucking cat behind me. Apparently not an Usos fan. I would move the Usos to AEW in exchange for Santana and Ortiz from AEW. That I would move them to WWE and the Usos to AEW. That's what I would do. Just because Santana and Ortiz, I'm a big fan of theirs. I think they're a great tag team. They just have not done jack shit in AEW. They came with a lot of buzz. Oh, LAX here from Impact, blah, 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 blah. One of them was fucking rolling around in orange juice a couple weeks ago. I'm like, come on, fam. Dude, really? Like, they have done nothing. I think I saw them lose to fucking Best Friends a couple months ago. Like, and I love Best Friends. But you hit rock bottom when you're losing a fucking, like, they haven't gone so far as to lose to, like, Brandon Cutler and what's his face, Peter Avalon, the loser librarian. Like, not quite that far yet anyway, but they're on dark more often than not. They're losers in the inner circle. I don't care what anyone says. They're easily, and this is including Jake Hager, which is saying something, they're easily the least relevant members of that faction, which is saying something. I would move them over to WWE. Hey, listen, they might end up on fucking main event against Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne, but it's worth a shot. They almost went to NXT before they went to AEW. They entertained an offer from WWE. I don't know if they lowballed them. I don't know if AEW they thought would be a better fit, and it is. I don't know. They just really haven't lit the world on fire for me. Honestly, they were way better in Impact. Better matches, better characters, better promos, better everything. And they're just they come across like two fucking jokes. They come across like fucking Waldorf and Statler and Wardorf from fucking the Muppets every week on Dynamite. I'm just not a fan of what they've been doing in AEW. So I think giving them a shot in WWE would be cool in exchange for the Usos, which would be sick. Like the Usos versus any tag team in AEW, I think would be money. Thoughts on, RJ says, week 1 of the women's tag team tournament. I thought it was shit. Honestly, I'm going to come right out and say it. I thought it was complete shit. I watched night 1 the other day. Holy shit, the wrestling sucked. Oh my God, I thought it was terrible. And I'm not even exaggerating. I thought the first match was, what was it? It was Brandy, I mean, come on, dude. I shouldn't even have to say anything more than that. Brandy Rhodes and Allie, who ended up back together as part of the Nightmare Sisters. I mean, I probably should have stopped watching the show right there, honestly. But they faced, God, who was it? Fuck. I don't remember. I know the main event was Cameron, which just got a big pop out of me last Wednesday when I saw that shit. Arion, whatever the fuck her name is, Andrew, and Nyla Rose. They faced Conchi, whatever, Tainara Conchi from NXT. Her name is Ty Conchi in AEW. It's spelled Conti, but they pronounced it Conchi. And they said Conchi in like one of the promos or like backstage. And then Shell Guerrero, the daughter of Vicky, goes, Ty Conti. And it's like, okay, is it Conchi? Is it Conti? What the fuck do I call this woman? But, you know, she teamed with Anna Jay. The match was terrible. Like, I love Tainara. She didn't have the greatest showing. Anna Jay's a work in progress. Nyla Rose might have been the standout from that match, which is saying something. And I'm not a big Nyla fan. She has grown on me. She's good. She's gotten better. She was the best part about that match, and I never thought I would say that. Cameron, Jesus Christ. We have not seen this woman wrestle in 5 years. She has not improved at all. Dude, at all. Like, you would think, oh my God, she's coming back after 5 years. She's improved. She's been training. She's amazing. She hasn't improved at all. It was, I got a good laugh out of watching that match, and I'm like, holy shit, like, did they make a mistake by bringing this? I don't want to say, like, dumb bimbo or anything. I'm sure she's a sweet as hell person. In the ring, though, I would rather watch grass grow. Like, that's how bad she is. She is fucking terrible. So, yeah, I thought the show sucked. At Iwagu91, and hopefully Night 2's better, to be honest with you. I thought it got off to a really poor start. They had Medusa out there presenting the trophy. You know, I thought that was cool. I thought Veda Scott on commentary was cool. I thought she did a good job. I'm familiar with her from Ring of Honor. They had Shaul Guerrero as the ring announcer, like I said earlier. The former Raquel Diaz, I want to say her name is, from NXT a long time ago, like the original NXT. Like when they first started the developmental shit. I thought they did good. The matches, though, I mean, just... Dude, Brandy Rhodes, I will just say this one more thing before we move on, is unbearable. She's unbearable. I don't care if she's talking. I don't care if she's wrestling. She is like change the channel worthy material for me. That's how bad she is. I'm sure she's a great brand chief officer, whatever the fuck you want to call her. I'm sure she's again, like I said about Cameron, a sweet as hell person. You know what? I might be a nice person. I don't belong in the ring, and neither does Brandy Rhodes. At Iwagu91, their question, do you think MJF will win the AEW World title from Jon Moxley at All Out? You know, there's a decent chance of that happening. I said this in more depth in the latest quick takes on Bleach Report. Cheap plug, check it out right now on Bleach Report. That was one of the main things I talked about last week, whether MJF should or should not, buying or selling on MJF as the next AEW World Champion. You know, I wouldn't complain. I think it'd be awesome. I think MJF is great. He could talk. He can go in the ring. He's a better talker than he's a wrestler. We haven't really seen much of him in the ring. That's the thing. And I can't even say, oh, he's a bad wrestler, but we saw him at Double or Nothing, and he had a great match with Jungle Boy. I thought they fucking killed it. And there were no gimmicks. There was no real feud. They just went out there and had a really, really good professional wrestling match. I think the guy's world champion would be cool. I just don't think that time is right now. Now, they do need to create new stars. The only 2 world champions they've had so far are former WWE people. And the people they've had go for the championship so far have all been WWE people. Jack Swagger is the former WWE superstar. Brody Lee, former WWE superstar. Brian Cage, yeah, he was in WWE, but he's not an AEW guy. It's not like, oh, I mean, he's a homegrown talent from AEW. No, he came from fucking Impact and Lucha. He's not an AEW guy. They're having Darby Allin go for the title tonight. He's not winning, but he is going for the championship tonight, which is cool. I like him and Moxley. We got to see a match from them, their first ever match on a Northeast Wrestling show last June in 2019, and it was awesome. They had a match again on AEW TV on Dynamite about a year ago, I want to say, right after Thanksgiving, around Thanksgiving time. Again, great match. So I'm looking forward to that tonight. Darby Allin is a homegrown star. MJF, yeah, he was in MLW. Does anyone really watch MLW? The answer is no. So I'm going to say like he's an AEW original, and it would be cool to see him win the title. From a storyline standpoint, though, as I was saying earlier, I just think there's other better options that you can go with right now. The way that I see it playing out, and this is not a bold prediction at all, but I see Moxley winning it all out. And MJF is like 24 years old. He's got his whole career ahead of him. He can win the belt, in 6 months, a year, from whatever. The only issue with MJF losing is that I don't want him to be directionless coming out of the show. I don't want him to lose and then go on to face fucking Brandon Cutler on Dark next week. Like, he's got to find some direction. That's the issue they ran into with Brody Lee. They're doing the thing with Colt Cabana, and it's cool, but, like, they need more direction for this guy aside from feuding with losers, feuding with fucking Sonny Kiss on Dark. Like, come on. Like, he should be doing more than that. If he just fought Jon Moxley for the World Championship. The thing with MJF not winning the belt, with Moxley, so here's my thing with that. I think it should be Kenny Omega. So Kenny Omega's been doing this, like, subtle heel turn for a couple weeks now. He's kind of underwhelmed overall in AEW compared to how he was in New Japan. The guy was like the greatest wrestler in the world. If you say that now, you're probably on some sort of a drug because he is far from like the greatest in the world right now. He might be in the conversation, but I would love to know what drug you're smoking, what crack you're smoking if you're saying Kenny Omega is the best wrestler in the world right now. I don't see it. He's great. He's amazing, but he's not the best. He's far from it, at least right now in AEW. And there's a variety of factors for that. I've talked about this before. It's not worth getting into again, but I think the heel turn could do him a world of good. He could beat Moxley for the belt and then go on to drop it to who other than Adam Page. I think that would work itself out perfectly. Adam Page, I want to say he's over, but there's no fans. Who is he over in front of, like the 10 people in the audience that are wrestlers? Like, it's kind of hard to say right now, but I think Omega beating Moxley is the way to go. MJF, I don't really know what you do with him. Moxley's been champion for long enough that if he drops it, I mean, it would be a year from when they had their match at, what's it fucking called? Full Gear. I think that'd be sick. And another thing too, completely unrelated, but since it's on a Saturday this year, and Full Gear landed on the first Saturday of November, I know All Out's going to be later this year. That's going to be in the first weekend of September and not the last weekend of August, because that's when Labor Day falls this year. So it's a little close, but I would love to see them bring back Halloween Havoc, and since it's on a Saturday, and do that as the Saturday show. I know Kenny Omega's a big Halloween fan. We'll fucking bring it back as a pay-per-view. I don't know if WWE owns the rights to it. I don't know if they can call it Halloween Hell or something. I don't know, but I think it's a random thing. But I would like to see Omega beat Moxley for the belt and have Page beat him for the championship, maybe at either Revolution or the Double or Nothing show in 2021. Next question from @Iwagu91. Had Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. signed with WWE in 2016, though personally I'm glad they didn't, he says. Were they supposed to compete in the finals of the Cruiserweight Classic? As far as I know, I don't think that's ever been confirmed. I would be shocked if they weren't, though. I mean, when news came out like the day of the show, I was shocked when they both lost. I was expecting the same thing. Zack Sabre Jr. dominated one side of the brackets. Ibushi dominated the other. That, to me, made the most sense to do in the finals with Ibushi winning. But they didn't do that. They had TJP go on to face Gran Metalik. And it was a great match. And I'm glad TJP won. But, like, it was random. Like, and TJP was getting booed going into the match, too. So it was kind of odd. And I think they did that because they knew Ibushi and Sabre Jr. weren't signing with them. So why would you give the inaugural Cruiserweight Championship to someone who isn't even signed, So yeah, I am of the mindset that if either or if not both guys signed, then they definitely would have done them in the finals over TJP and Gran Metalik. Do you see Kenny Omega turning heel on Adam Page instead of the other way around? Yeah, I just got finished talking about this, but I do. I think it was leaning towards Page going heel initially, but honestly, I'm not really sure why Omega would want to go heel, but from a storyline standpoint. But I think it makes more sense. Page, before the pandemic happened, was over as shit. Like, some of the reactions this guy was getting for fucking drinking beer, like you would think he was Stone Cold Steve Austin out there. He was getting great reactions. And so is Kenny Omega, but he has really cooled off considerably. So, yeah, I would turn Omega over Page, and I think that's the direction they're going in, thankfully. At Reborn Again, my friend John Ritland from the YouTube Machine. Check out his channel, Real Honesty with John Ritland. His first question was, did Raw feel incredibly disjointed and random, or was that just me? It seemed like they threw everything at the wall to see what stuck, and in my opinion, what stuck wasn't very good. Did it stick, though? Did it stick is the question. When you say it's stuck on the wall, that's like, oh, that means, it worked. I don't think any of those things worked, to be honest. I thought the best part of the show was the Orton-McIntyre promo. That's it. I honestly can't think of any other highlights from the show. It wasn't a terrible show. The Raw Underground shit was awful. I'm not a fan of it. Awful might not be the right word. I don't want to poop on it just yet. I'm not going to take a big old dump on it quite yet. But as of right now, I'm not a fan. The faction shit, redemption, coming to burn down the generator. Who gives a shit, dude? Who fucking cares? Who cares about this rogue group coming to take down the man? Like, change the channel. I'd rather watch fucking, and I hate that I'm saying this. I'm not even going to say it. I was going to say I'd rather watch Grizzly Knows Best, but I'm not going to say that because I'd rather be on my fucking deathbed than watch that terrible, 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 terrible show. Anyway, but yeah, no, the show is a mess. It definitely felt like that they were trying anything and everything to get people to watch our show. Like, oh, we got a new faction. Watch the show. We got a faction. It's gonna pan out. It's gonna be the best part of Raw. Come watch. And then guess what? We don't see the faction. We didn't see the faction on the show. Does that surprise you? It doesn't surprise you because it's WWE. I expect nothing less. The Raw Underground thing, same thing. Oh, look at us. We're doing shoot fighting now. We're doing real fighting. We're beating the shit out of each other in a fucking warehouse in Stanford. We got half-naked women shaking their asses. Come watch the show. Come watch the show. No. You know what? Honestly, I won't. Next thing. Do you think MJF is one of, if not, the best promo men in wrestling today? To me, he's right up there. Absolutely. Absolutely. Easily one of the best talkers in all of wrestling right now. Easily. It's not even a question. Other people are up there. I think Orton's been cutting some of the best promos of his entire career. Currently in WWE as a heel. And, Kevin Owens is good. Cody Rhodes is a great talker. Nick Aldis, great too. But MJF is up there as one of the best talkers right now in wrestling anywhere in the world. Non-wrestling related. This is a good question. Are there any Disney animated movies that you feel are underappreciated and any that are overrated? If so, which ones and why? That's a great question. Now, I'm going to get the overrated out of the way now, and I'm going to hear some comments from the back for this one. Honestly, after having seen it, and I thought it was a good movie, but people friggin' need to change their pants after talking about how great and how magical it was and all this other shit, I'm talking about Frozen. I think Frozen is overrated, to be honest with you. I do. People are going to come with me with fucking pitchforks like the opening scene in Shrek. I don't care. I don't care. I think it's an overrated movie. I don't give a shit about it. I think the songs are good. People have to friggin', again, change their pants after they hear Let It Go. Stop it. You're a grown fucking adult. Like, give me a break. But I think the movie's good after having seen it for the first time, and people would be like, oh, wait, why haven't you seen it? Why the fuck would I have seen it? Why the fuck would I have gone to see that movie on my own? I would be fucking arrested for being associated with children. Why would I have gone to see that movie by myself? Who would I have seen that movie with when it came out 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago? I don't want to watch that shit unless I have to. I saw it recently on Disney Plus. Thought it was good. Definitely overrated. Now, I can't really think of many other movies that are overrated from Disney that come to mind. And you said Disney animated movies. So I'm thinking like, Lion King. I'm thinking Aladdin. All those movies are great. I would watch those movies back 100 times. So I'm not going to say any of those. I was tempted, and the kid's going to be fucking firing up my DMs for this one. I was tempted to put down Mulan. RJ is going to hate me for saying that. But you know what? I watched it. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to thumbs down any Eddie Murphy movie. So I'm not going to say Mulan. I was also tempted to say Pocahontas. Don't give a shit about Pocahontas. Just my 2 cents. Wouldn't watch it again. Bores me to tears. Don't give a fuck. I like Beauty and the Beast. Don't give too much of a shit about either Hunchback or Notre Dame, Dom, whatever. Haven't seen it in a long time. Can't say it's overrated. So now for the underrated movies. You know where I'm going with this one. Lilo and Stitch is absolutely underrated, and I will not hear another fucking word about it. Great movie, great cast, great humor, great story, great everything. Great movie. It's underappreciated. People, I think, enjoy Lilo and Stitch, but don't give it the credit it deserves. It's great. So underappreciated is one for Lilo. That's one movie that's underappreciated in my opinion from Disney. I got 3 more here. Again, underappreciated is a very subjective thing. I could say these movies are underappreciated. The guy down the street might have a fucking shrine to Lilo and Stitch. So, I mean, to say it's underappreciated might be a little much, but hey, I think it is. And I'm a big Lilo and Stitch fan. I just find it to be underappreciated on a general basis. I'm talking majority here, okay? So again, for the next 3 movies, the fuck is that outside? Jesus Christ. Hercules, I think, is underappreciated. I really do. I think it's a great movie. And the one with The Rock is good too, from 2014. But the original Disney animated movie, Hades, amazing. I forgot what their 2 names are, the little guys that he has by his side. I don't remember what their names are, but they were funny as hell. Phil, fucking, what's his name? The guy from, what's his fucking name? The guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Danny DeVito, thank you, Alexis, is amazing as Phil in that movie. It's just a great movie. It's a great feel-good movie. It makes me laugh. I enjoy it. Love me some Hercules. It's underrated. Why isn't there any attraction, Walt Disney, fucking dedicated to Hercules in Walt Disney World, you friggin' Nazi? Like, how is there not a Hercules ride in Walt Disney World? That to me makes no sense. You don't even have a ride, like a log flume or something. You have a ride in Disney World, and follow me on this, people, dedicated to a literal racist movie in Splash Mountain, then have a movie dedicated, or have a ride dedicated to Hercules. That's bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. And I know they changed it to fucking Princess and the Frog and the dumb shit, whatever. But they should have called it Hercules, in my opinion. Oh, it's, the first princess. I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Fuck?
Dude.
That's so problematic what you just said.
It should be Hercules.
No, it should.
Next underappreciated movie. This is my show, thank you. Bugs Life. Bugs Life! Bugs Life is amazing, all right? Bugs Life, you need to go back and watch this shit on Disney+. It's great. It's comedy gold. It's funny as hell. It's a great story. A lot of undertones there that could be applied to today. You got to watch it, like, with the whole police brutality going on right now. It's a really, really funny movie. It's a great movie, touching movie, realistic. I wouldn't want to mess with Hopper, but it's a great story, and I think it's, I enjoy it. The last one, listen, this is going to blow your mind. And maybe you listening at home, you Joe Schmo in your mom's basement, would be like, oh, I already know this is a great movie. But I think on a general basis here, a lot of people wouldn't say that's, one of my favorite Disney movies. Be ready to have your mind blown, all right? 3, 2, 1. Emperor's New Groove is so underappreciated, it's not even funny. The movie's been around now for 20 years, and it's still one of the funniest movies they've ever done. David Spade as Cusco is hilarious. Now, the subsequent show is kind of disappointing. Emperor's New School. Listen, I watched it as a kid. Probably not the funniest shit in the world. Kind of a flop. Kronk's New Groove. All right, give me a break. The original movie, though, is a timeless classic. It is so fucking funny. Where he's like, boom, baby, and he like comes out of the fucking door, and then like the old man gets thrown out the window. I was like, sorry. Like the whole thing is just great. Like Yzma's ride, like another thing, how they not made a ride over the Emperor's New Groove. Again, it's just a great movie. It's a great, great movie. So check those out right now on Disney Plus. Lilo and Stitch, Hercules, the original, Bugs Life, and Emperor's New Groove. Not Frozen. Don't waste your time on that overrated shit, but watch those other 4 movies instead. At Jeremy8911 from the Twitter machine, should Candice LeRae and Mia Yim get called up to SmackDown to help out that desperately terrible, awful women's division? He didn't throw in those last 3 words there. I did, about the desperate, terrible, awful women's division. I did, but yes, they should. I mean, so I would say before them, Rhea Ripley screams SmackDown. Like, honestly, the fact that she isn't already in the main roster, and I just got done talking to her, and honestly, she even said in the interview that she wouldn't be opposed to moving up. She's not like, oh, I'm attached to NXT, I don't want to leave, like, we're the main roster. Like, she's like, no, like, I would go in a heartbeat. If they called me up tomorrow, I would be there in 2 seconds. There are other things, and there are other people that she wants to face in NXT, But from the sound of her voice, she has no idea what's going to happen from day to day. It's not her call. But I think she'd be a perfect fit on that blue brand. They might ruin her. Who the fuck knows? They already ruined her when they had to lose to Charlotte. I mean, ruin is a strong word, but they definitely, decisively hurt her momentum when she lost to Charlotte at WrestleMania. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I will not argue. I will not see it any other way than Charlotte beating Rhea was a bad move. Because it was. It was stupid. So I would call up Rhea before them. Mia is like the gatekeeper of that women's division in NXT. She's very good. I don't ever see her winning the women's championship. I just don't. She's there to put other people over. She'll win like inconsequential matches, but she'll never win the big one. She'll never win the big feud, like this big match. She just won't. She's just kind of there to serve her spot and make other people look good. And I really like Mia Yim. I could see her getting called up, absolutely. Candice, so of those three, I would call up Rhea first, then Mia, because she's been there for like 2 or 3 years now. I guess so was Candice, but the thing with Candice is that, one, I could see her as women's champion at some point. Maybe not like soon, but maybe. And two, she's doing this great thing right now with the heel Gargano, like the heel Gargano, Johnny Gargano thing. I wouldn't break that up. Like, they just turned heel together. They got that great act going. You could clearly tell they're enjoying it. And Johnny even told me in her interview, like, if Candice, she wants to get pregnant at some point, it could be a Becky situation where she just gets pregnant tomorrow. And she has to, like, not retire, but you never know. Like, Johnny even said in her interview, like, the reason they're doing this now is that anything can happen with Candice. Like, he wants to do this now in case that she gets baby fever, like, tomorrow and wants to have a kid and wants to leave. So he at least he could say, okay, I got the team with my wife. I got to do this shit, blah, blah, blah. So I would call her up. You know, I wouldn't wait too long. It's already been almost 3 years. But, you know, her and Johnny, if Johnny gets called up, I would put her with him. She could also go up on her own. But I would rather see, I think, from a storyline standpoint, Mia Yim go up first, and especially Rhea Ripley. At Scarlet One from the Twitter machine, best and worst of the Wednesday Night Wars number 42. So from last week. God, I honestly do not even know what happened last week. I'm not going to be honest with you. It feels like it's been a year since last Wednesday, but I don't remember what happened. I know they did the triple. I remember enjoying NXT more than Dynamite. I will say that much. I don't remember what else they did. I know that opening 10-man tag team match on AEW was a fucking shitfest. It sucked. It was a mess. It was all over the place. They were blowing spots. Aubrey Edwards is like, oh no, come on in. Like, no, what the fuck? Like, do your fucking job as a referee. Jesus Christ. Like, the whole thing was a mess. Again, I don't remember what else happened. I remember it being a decent show, but there have been better episodes of Dynamite. NXT, not that it was an amazing show by any means, but I thought it was better than Dynamite last week, and it's usually the other way around, but I enjoyed both shows. Did you hear about Disney's plan, also from Scarlet One, to release the Mulan remake for $29.99 on Disney+? What are these fucking people smoking, bro? I saw this on Twitter or something the other day, like, oh, Mulan is coming to Disney+. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like, they have their own streaming service. They held off for this long because they want to make that money, because of course they would. Why wouldn't they? They probably realized, all right, this pandemic ain't ending anytime soon. We're not holding off on this until next year. We're just going to get rid of it now, you know? And I'm like, oh, all right, cool. Not that I'm going to watch it. I don't really give a fuck. I saw the original Mulan again for the first time in full. Maybe I've seen it before, but I watched it a couple of months ago. I enjoyed it. There was I was saying, man, I can't wait for that remake. I'm just going to pay all my fucking hard-earned money on a Mulan remake. No, I didn't, because I just don't care. I just don't feel, I feel like these Disney remakes are getting out of hand, dude. They're not all bad. I thought the Lion King one was really good. I thought the Jungle Book one a number of years ago was really good. I thought the Beauty and the Beast one might have been the best one they've done. But, like, dude, Lilo and Stitch, the fuck are you making a remake of that for? Like, really? Seriously? That's just stupid. Mulan? I don't know. I'm not a fan. $29.99? Dude, so my brother and I, we tried to watch Ford versus Ferrari about a month or two ago. I think it was on Father's Day with our dad. We're like, oh, you know, it's out now. We could watch it. The movie's been out since, like, I don't know, it came out like late last year, I feel like. It was in theaters, I'm pretty sure. It came out about like 9 months ago. They have it on Xfinity right now for $20 to rent. And I'm like, what if the movie's shit and I just wasted $20 for nothing? Like, Going to the movies and spending $5 to $10 on your own movie ticket, that's one thing. I'm not saying like, oh, you never know. I need to know it's good before I go in. I don't really give a shit about the ratings and the tomatoes and the avocados. I don't give a fuck. But like, I don't know. To sit in like going to a movie theater is a different experience than spending $30 on watching it on. I have a nice TV, but like, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. For Mulan, what fucking kid is gonna have what parent of a kid is gonna want to watch a Mulan remake for $30? I guess their justification is, oh, well, you're gonna be watching with 3 people, the mom, the dad, and the kid. I guess, but like, is little Jimmy gonna stay awake enough to watch the fucking movie like for $30? I don't think so. That to me is a waste of money. Thoughts on the AEW Women's Tag Team Tournament being on YouTube? I said it earlier, I thought night one sucked, but the fact that it's on YouTube, I mean, good. I mean, if I had to sit through those matches on Dynamite, I mean, yeah, it kind of says that it's not important when it doesn't happen on the main show, but you could say the same thing about the Mae Young Classic. I mean, granted, that's the WWE Network, it's a little different, but still, I would rather not have those terrible matches be on the show itself. Excuse me, I think that'd be a bad idea, so having to do your own little YouTube show for it, I mean, I would just do it on Dark, personally. I guess they want to dedicate the entire show to that one tournament. Yeah, I don't know. Dark could use some, like, important matches. Those would help out, even though the matches aren't that good. But the fact that it's far away from Dynamite itself is definitely for the better. I will tell you that right now. Final 2 questions. At E13A from the Twitter machine, how do you feel about AEW Dynamite's COVID-era episodes compared to the pre-COVID episodes? I can't find the statistics, but I believe the number of episodes are starting to reach the same amount. So by that last part, he means, and this is scary to think about, AEW has now almost, not quite yet, but is almost done as many shows in front of no fans as they did in front of fans. Like, that's crazy. We're going to get to a point in like a month or so, probably not even, where we will have had more shows in front of a fake crowd than a crowd in AEW. And that is just unbelievable to me. So the episodes themselves have actually been very good. If you had to choose one, if you were asking me like what's better, the episodes now compared to like 6 months ago, I would obviously say with a crowd, because the crowd is a big part of these AEW shows. They make the wrestlers important. They make me care about the matches. They make me care about the storylines. They're just all around much better shows. The atmosphere is better. The matches are better. They've made the most of a bad situation. And the episodes, honestly, by and large, are entertaining. But like, it sucks when I was thinking about this recently. Do you know how sad it is that there's so many cool things that, I mean, there's nothing we could do, but there's so many cool moments that a year, 2, 5 years from now, you would be rewatching back and being like, wow, listen to the pop for that. Like when Brian Cage's debut, the reaction would have been great. Matt Hardy's debut, Brody Lee's debut, even WWE stuff. The AJ Bryan match, I would probably rewatch. But like McIntyre's big moment, why rewatch it? There's no fans there. Like, it's cool, but like, it's not the same as if there was this giant reaction like when Becky won the main event of WrestleMania last year. Like, that has replay value. A lot of the shows from any company, any company in front of no fans, does not. So it sucks, but, you know, I think they've made the most of a bad situation. Dynamite is still pretty good. Honestly, better than NXT most weeks. And I'm a big NXT guy. I prefer NXT over Dynamite. But I will say sometimes the Dynamite shows are better than NXT. That's just not a fact, but I think you won't find many people who disagree. But the shows have been entertaining overall, though. I will say that. And finally, this was a few weeks ago, but did you hear about the comparison sheet someone made of Kenny Omega's 2018 New Japan Pro Wrestling run and his run in AEW run so far? So I saw the statistics sheet, and it shows how Kenny actually has a better win-loss percentage, has a better win-loss record in AEW compared to when he did in New Japan. And I saw a comment say this, and I completely agree. Numbers are only part of the story. I mean, dude, fucking Nia Jax could win 100 matches in a year. Does that make her the best women's wrestler alive? The answer is a resounding no. So, I mean, just because they win a lot or, like, whatever, the statistics are good. That means they've been booked well. But in terms of, like, living up to the hype in the ring, like, the statistics only tell a part of the story. The matches he's had so far in AEW are not on the level of the matches he had in Japan. That is almost a fact. I mean, he's had some really good AEW matches. That Young Bucks match specifically from February's Revolution pay-per-view. One of my favorite matches all year, if not my favorite match all year. Definitely from AEW. That being said, though, the matches with Okada, the match, he had a couple of matches with Cody Rhodes and Ibushi and Tanahashi. Just way better matches. AJ Styles, and actually not Styles. He did not face him in New Japan, but Naito? Did he face Naito? I don't remember, but he had a lot better matches, I'll say. In J-Weight as well. In New Japan over AEW. And again, that could be for a variety of reasons. Is it because he was more special over there? Because he didn't wrestle as much? Is it because he's been a babyface so far in AEW? Is it because he's had just the wrong opponents, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. The wrong stories, not the greatest stories. I don't know. But it's not the same Kenny from New Japan. He's been getting better with that in the last 6 months, I'd say, ever since the Hangman Page team started. But why the fuck is this guy in the tag team division? Like, honestly, I love the Page and Omega tag team, but why are they in a tag team to begin with? AEW has enough tag teams to last them a lifetime. Why are the belts on Page and Omega when you could have two big breakout single stars in Omega and Page? That doesn't make any sense to me. So, anyway, I did see the sheet. He's had a very good AEW run so far. Good record. He's had a great record in 2020 alone. He's been tag team champion now for over 6-7 months, the longest reigning champion in the entire company's history, alongside Page, obviously. But still, I'm just, I don't know. He's missing that extra oomph. He's missing that extra something, that extra edge to take him to the next level, and I'm hoping a heel turn can get him there. So time will tell. That's going to do it, guys, for episode 349 of #AskGSM here today for Wednesday, August 5th, 2020. Thank you, as always, for checking out the show, liking, watching, subscribing, sharing the videos, all that great shit. Be sure to thumbs up the video, drop a comment, share the video, subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Check out the description box down below for more #AskGSM, including next week's episode, which I don't think we're doing anything special for, but it is worth noting, episode 350. 350 episodes of me fucking ranting about people in tights. So check all those other episodes out right here on the channel. Again, I don't think we're going live. I don't think we're doing anything special for that episode. It's just 350. It's cool. Nothing too special, but been doing this for 7 years. Thank you guys, as always, for your endless support. And yeah, that's about it. Go out of your way to check out right now two things. One, the redesigned, rebuild, reclaimed Next Era Wrestling Now, WrestleRant.com. Check it out right now. Own the domain. Revamp the website. Check it out right now on WrestleRant.com. And my exclusive interview right now on DailyDDT.com with NXT's own Rhea Ripley, talking her blonde hair, facing Dakota Kai in NXT, what is left for her to do in NXT, her future, and so much more. Check that out right now, again, as I mentioned, on DailyDDT.com. Have a great one, guys. I know this is going up well after the shows have already started, but thank you for bearing with me. Hoping to have this up a lot sooner next week when there isn't a fucking storm knocking at my door. So wish me luck. But until then, guys, have a great one. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'm Graham GSM Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.